Welcome back to the Daily Tribal Sovereignty Report. My name is Aaron Thomas. Powhatan is my hereditary name, and this is Monday, August 17th, 2026. And before I dive into the headlines shaping Indian country today, hit that button, like it, smash that subscribe, and share this episode with your network. Help me bring Indian country's top news directly to the people. Let's get right to the updates. According to Source, New Mexico and ICT state energy officials briefed lawmakers over the weekend on vast areas of tribal and Pueblo lands in New Mexico being identified as primary geothermal energy hubs. The opposition, local environmental coalitions, and traditional elders expressed concern over subsurface site disturbance and groundwater impacts during exploratory drilling phases. Now, why this matters to tribes. Developing geothermal power expands energy sovereignty, allowing tribes to generate their own clean energy rather than relying on outside providers. Now, why this matters to sovereignty, it exercises direct authority over natural resources within the reservation boundaries and reinforces a tribe's inherent right to land governance and economic self-determination. And in other news today, according to the Bureau of Indian Affairs Division of Workforce Development, federal officials formally issued guidelines for the new Ignite Grant pilot program to fund manufacturing, technology, and local infrastructure projects across Indian country. The opposition, fiscal oversight groups argued these targeted federal allocations create market disadvantages for tribal enterprises over non-tribal competitors. And why this matters to tribes. This supports workforce development by creating high-tech and manufacturing jobs directly within tribal boundaries. And why this matters to sovereignty, it builds independent economic infrastructure and reduces reliance on discretionary federal funding, enabling tribal self-sufficiency. And according to Native News Online, the National Congress of American Indians congratulated Mark Cruz on his confirmation as the Indian Health Services as the director there. And this was following advocacy and testimony in Washington, D.C. Advocates highlighted that the current $8 billion IHS, or Indian Health Services, allocation falls far short of the $76 billion needed to fully meet tribal healthcare obligations. The opposition, federal budget hawks, urge strict spending caps and demand offsetting cuts before approving increases to Indian Health Services funding. Why this matters to tribes. Healthcare funding directly impacts tribal family wellness, public health infrastructure, and community longevity. And why this matters to sovereignty, demanding full health funding enforces the federal government's trust and treaty obligations promised in exchange for ceded lands. And according to the imprint, the nonpartisan Uniform Law Commission released new model legislation for states to harmonize local child welfare laws with the Federal Indian Child Welfare Act. The opposition, private adoption groups argue state-level Indian Child Welfare Act provisions overlie, restrict state jurisdictional discretion in foster and adoption placements. And why this matters to tribes, this keeps Native children connected to their families, cultures, and communities. This is also education and cultural sovereignty. And why it matters to sovereignty, it reaffirms tribal jurisdiction over child welfare and guards the future citizenship of Native nations. And according to Native News Online, a federal judge rejected the Tohono O'odham Nation's bid to stop border wall construction across ancestral lands. The opposition, federal border agencies argue national security mandates supersede tribal land claims along international boundaries. Why this matters to tribes, it disrupts ancestral land stewardship, sacred sites, and traditional community access. And why this matters to sovereignty, it directly impacts land sovereignty by prioritizing federal border enforcement over tribal land rights. And according to Indian Country Today, the 104th Santa Fe Indian Market weekend wrapped up in New Mexico, featuring the SWAIA Native Fashion Show and the Get Indigenous Film Festival. So congratulations to all those that took place in Santa Fe. A lot of us will be there in September for the Native American Finance Association, NAFOA, which is happening around September 20th to the 22nd. All right, on the weather front, according to the National Interagency Fire Center, Several Western tribes face severe wildfire conditions. The Hagen and Paradise fires remain active near the Umatilla Reservation, while Western Canadian First Nations remain under heightened evacuation alerts. So be careful out there. Please stay alert and make sure that if you see smoke, make sure that you are taking care of your elders and your pets at this time. All right, that'll do it for your daily roundup for today, Monday, August 17th. Please stay informed, stay engaged, and keep fighting for sovereignty. I'm Aaron Thomas Powhatan. I'll see you right back again tomorrow morning for the Daily Tribal Sovereignty Report.